This is Wei Ting from Post Wrestling, and you're watching Count It Out with Mike and Tyler.
Well, we are live, pals, and welcome to what could be one of the worst editions of Count It Out with Mike and Tyler you are ever going to hear. Quality. Quality. Oh boy, what a treat. Quality standpoint here. My name is Tyler. I'm joined by Coffee Magoo, Mr. Mike over there, and let's just give a little bit of pretense of what's going on. I forgot my microphone at home, so I sound like shit. I am also in the middle of working a 18-hour workday today, so I'm very tired. Mike, you are sick as fuck, and my internet connection is awful, so whatever.
We'll see what happens. I unfortunately am down with a case of the old bronchitis, which is not a disease you get from a dinosaur. I hoped. It sucks. It's probably the sickest that I've ever been. It sucks, dude.
Yeah, it's not.
But I took a page out of your book. I'm doing the old Ryan and Ginger tonight.
Oh, that will help for sure. Mm-hmm. I've not been drinking much since our New Year's escapades.
Ooh, New Year's. I don't think we haven't had a show since New Year's. Man, New Year's with the Count It Out family was something special this year.
We had the best of show last week that you hated.
The best of the worst of Mike Walsh show.
No chance.
Anybody who climbed onto our live stream on New Year's knows that we were so fucking just shit. We had a great conversation with the one and only Clay Wilson. We got to talk to some buddies on the chat, like our good friend Brian Weiss, amongst many others. But we got shittered, made some bets that unfortunately never got to see happen. Made a lot of horrible comments. Pretty sure Wilson may have gotten naked. I don't know.
Not on the live stream.
I drank
not Clay
champagne.
Wilson, our buddy Wilson also.
Oh yeah. I drank champagne, which I forgot. I think I'm like allergic to or something. I spent half the live stream with diarrhea. It was fun. Good time.
Yeah, we don't party like we used to, that's for sure. So we're doing a list. What's our list this week? I don't know. You've changed your list 3 times on me in the last week and a half.
Listen, I told you this privately. I'll tell you this publicly. When you start raising 3 kids, 2 kids, like I lost count of my kids. That's how busy I am. When you start raising 2 kids, fucking shit show of a fucking whirlwind of a fucking day job. Not the easy peasy that you deal with in fucking Aurora.
Hey, I got 2 jobs now. My life is not kosher anymore.
Fucking, are in full-time school, got bronchitis. When you have all that shit going, still fucking put together some list, you're allowed to change your list a couple times, all right?
When you got all that shit going and
we're doing a fun.
Shawn? Is it Shawn Michaels we're doing?
We're going to do Shawn Michaels, man. The way I was thinking it, we got Royal Rumble in San Antonio coming up. I believe it's the 4th time the Royal Rumble will be in San Antonio in the last 40 years. I mean, they did it was 97, 07, 17, now this year. So, which is really, really cool. And who's known more from San Antonio than the one and only Shawn Michaels?
David Robinson.
So we're going to do we're going to do the top 7 moments in the Royal Rumble match.
Let me ask you a question. Oh, and the Royal Rumble match, not Royal Rumbles?
Yes. No. So I thought about doing both. I decided to exclude, listen, man, sure, I could talk about one of my favorite, because I love, you know me and my WWE 1997. I don't know what the consensus amongst you and the rest of the world is, but I really liked the match with him in '97. I love the finish with the camera and all that. We could talk about that. We could talk about him getting hurt during his match with Taker in '98. There's stuff to talk about, but I think there's enough to talk about in just the Royal Rumble match itself. There were things, because originally those two other moments I just mentioned were on my list, and then that meant I had to keep a couple things that are on my list off, and I didn't want to. I really wanted to talk about those things, so I decided to make it just the Royal Rumble match itself.
Okay, let me
Because
ask
let's be
you a
honest,
question.
I'm just going to throw you. Let me throw you a quick challenge first, and then I want to hear your, because this is one of the things that made me think. Think of the big four, okay? The big four pay-per-views, and then name them. I'm going to cut you off. Shawn Michaels is one of the greatest performers of that pay-per-view. Doesn't matter. All four of those pay-per-views, Shawn Michaels is one of the greatest performers in all four of the big four.
Was Shawn any good at WrestleManias? I don't remember.
No, he had a couple good ones, but those couple good ones are enough to put him up there, you know. Shawn Michaels is one of the greatest performers, not only of all time, but not only is he Mr. WrestleMania, but he's a contender for Mr. Rumble, Mr. Survivor Series,
That's what
and
I want to
Mr.
ask you, actually. That's my
SummerSlam.
question. Where do you rank Shawn Michaels amongst the greatest Royal Rumble competitors of all time?
Definitely top 10. Like without
I
a
might
doubt,
push
like
top 5, top 4, maybe.
top 5 is you'd have to give me time to think about this. I mean, it sounds like somebody that runs a list podcast should think about. But without hesitation, top 10. Without a think, top 5, maybe higher.
I think you got to maybe.
Some of the things I talk about today might make him a candidate for the top 3.
Yeah, I'm thinking top 3 or 4 for sure. You know what? Maybe that's my list next week. How about that?
Pardon me?
That'll be my list next week. How about that?
I love it. Greatest performers?
Top 7 Royal Rumble performers of all time.
Love it.
All right, book it. Now I just got to find time to do my homework.
Before we jump into the list, what should we talk about, man? I didn't really put up a hypothetical. I'm going to apologize in advance. I told you I have bronchitis. I will be coughing and wheezing every once in a while. Yeah. I didn't really put together a hypothetical this week. Let's just talk about little bits and pieces, things that come to our mind.
Let's start.
You mentioned something. Okay,
I've got a few points that I want to talk about today, actually. So I've got about 3 or 4 if you're cool with that.
All right. Well, I've got one, and then I'll let you fly because I think it's the only one I got.
You go first.
Well, it might be one and a half. Okay, 1.5.
I will say, hold on, sorry to cut you off. If the one that you want to say, I have one that I'd like to start off with. If we don't have the same point, so.
Okay. All right. Well, so do you just want to go? Is that what you're saying?
I just want to do one, and then you do yours, and I'll do my rest. I'd really like to start off. I didn't have a chance to do it last week because we didn't record together. But I'd like to talk about Don West. Don West. I know I lagged there. Oh. So Don West. I'd like to speak about Don West.
100%.
Tragically passed away after his, I believe, second battle with cancer. About a week and a half, 2 weeks ago now. I gotta say, him and Mike Tenay, they don't get the credit that they actually deserve when it comes to talking about great commentating teams. I don't even know if we put them. Did you put them on your list? Do you remember for our greatest commentating teams of all time?
I didn't, and I kicked myself for that because even I didn't give them the credit that they deserve for it. They're so. Listen, I'm as guilty as anybody for this. The shit years of TNA between 2009 and 2017, 18, those years, unfortunately, for a lot of people, including myself sometimes, have erased the memories of everything that came before. It's sometimes easy to forget how great TNA was in that first decade.
Yeah.
And one of the things that made TNA great in that first decade was the team up of Don West and Mike Tenay.
Yeah, you know what? I loved At first, I did not like Don West as a commentator because it was just so different. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And then, like,
Because he
the
wasn't a
more,
commentator, you know, he was just
well,
this like he was this TV guy, and
yeah, and like the
yeah,
more that I listened to him and Tanay, and especially when it got to like be just him and Tanay together, and then they got rid of like the third man, and they hit this chemistry.
yeah,
But Don West brought so much excitement to that product. Like when Kurt Angle debuted, or like anytime you watch AJ Styles, like Don West
yeah,
was a big deal for AJ Styles getting over. Like he got him over. Like
yeah. One of my favorite things is when he did that little heel turn there and snapped on Tanay, saying, you know, we're in that board meeting and they're coming after me. You don't have my back. Just the
yeah,
way he did it on air, it you know, one of those that you know, as a smart fan, you know it's fake, but it felt so real, and you know it. Don West really brought that one home. I loved it.
yeah, and you know, just the I always like love hearing the people that are so loved and the outpour of love and all the beautiful comments that were shared with Mr. West. It's just fantastic. And you know, we love Don West, and much respect to his friends and family. We were sending our best wishes and condolences during that hard period of time. And just thank you to Don West for all the enjoyment that he gave us.
Um, Michael Cole shouting him out on SmackDown, I think, was
That was
such a
cool.
classy move by the WWE.
Yep.
Thank you to the WWE for doing that, because that's fantastic. Question for you: do you remember from back in the day, Will Ferrell used to imitate Don West on Saturday Night Live?
I've
You ever
seen
see
the
any of those
clip. Yeah, I
sketches?
saw the sketch.
Man, they were so good.
I do also just want to apologize to our listeners again because my internet connection is not stable. So I know that Mike is probably hearing me on a delay or a lag. So we might be a little off timing today. So whatever, it's old school counted out before we knew what we were
Yeah,
doing. But
before we knew
I
what the
told you
fuck they
guys
were doing.
last week we were going back to the basics. I didn't think it was going to be the quality of the show, but hey, fuck it, man. Every now and then we can put up a stinker. What was your point you
Yeah.
want to talk about?
Well, the first thing I wanted was actually yours, because you brought it up to me off air, but I need to talk about it. I think you and I are the only two people in the world that's loving this shit right now. But I am loving the Dom and Finn and Ray the jail angle. I'm loving it, and I know you love it as well. And everybody else is hating on it, and I
I don't
don't know
know
why.
how you
It's
can
pure gold.
hate
Love it.
anything they're doing. Like even going back to their Thanksgiving skit where Dom and Rhea laid out
Yeah.
Ray, and then they did the same thing at Christmas, but Ray was like, "Fuck you! Here come the cops." And like Dom in the back of the car going, "Mommy, I can't make it in jail. Like I won't make it in jail. Call Finn." Like, and now all of a sudden, like he spent like he probably like with a charge like that, you don't even go to jail. You're probably just in a holding
Yeah.
cell. And now he's like
Yeah.
got the teardrops and he's
He's
dressed
got the
like
teardrop
Conan.
tattoo, which is great.
He's
Yeah,
got the
it's
Conan
great.
unbuttoned sweater. Like, oh my god, it's so
It's
funny.
gold. It's
It's amazing.
fucking
And
gold.
Rhea Ripley has been amazing in this role. Like her
Oh
and
yeah.
Dom have really overshadowed the rest of that group, as far as I'm concerned.
She is my pick for the 2023 Royal Rumble. I'll put that out there right now. But I'm wondering, do they put her in that role, or are they afraid of overshadowing the rest of the group by putting her in that role?
I don't think she needs it this year. I think it actually is a step back from her and I know that's crazy because it's like a WrestleMania title match, but I mean, like she's such an integral part of Ray and Dom in that storyline that I don't think
Yeah.
she needs to win the Royal Rumble this year. And I hope they don't put her over this year because I want to see her continue doing what she's doing.
Yeah. She definitely is my favorite female participant in WWE right now. Sure.
And I want to tip my cap to the
She's just gold.
WWE. I want to tip my cap to the WWE because they've kept this Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio feud interesting for a long period of time without them even being on the same brand. You know what I mean? Like Dom always makes those comments like, "How's my deadbeat dad?" when he sees somebody from the other brand. Like I like
Yeah.
stuff like that. And
What do you say when it's like, hey AJ, you want to run away like my old man and be scared
yeah,
and run away to the other brand? Love that stuff. Love it.
I hope we see like Ray eliminate Dom from the Royal Rumble or something like that. You know what I mean? And set up their
What
WrestleMania.
I think is going to happen, I think they are going to come toe to toe. Ray's not going to be able to pull the trigger, and then Dom will eliminate Ray. I don't think we're at the point yet where Ray is able to pull the trigger on his son yet.
What,
I
what if
don't think we see a blow against Dominic until WrestleMania.
what if they did it where they do a spot where like Dom is slapping Ray and pushing him and like hitting him and Ray won't fight back and Dom charges at him and Ray ducks and eliminates
See,
Dom?
that's something that would like that work a lot, and then the embarrassment of Dom can really fuel the rest of it, and
Yeah.
and then that side of Ray that still feels bad for his son is going to come out.
Then you could
There's a
have
lot
Dom
of
like
cool
eliminate
looking
Ray. You know
forward
what I
to
mean?
it.
Like something like, I would like to see something that's going to continue this build to Mania. I
Looking
really,
forward to it.
really into it, man. Did you have a chance to watch any of Wrestle Kingdom?
Nothing.
I
No,
watched.
not out of lack of interest, just out of lack of time. I just haven't
Yeah.
had a chance.
I watched a fair amount of it. I'm not going to run through the whole card because, like, whatever. But I really did enjoy what I watched. I wasn't a huge fan of Sasha Banks's debut. It didn't do anything for me. Like, I thought it came across kind of flat, to be honest. And I'm the unpopular opinion on that because I know that everybody else has been like shitting their pants about it. Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay put out a hell of a match. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with the best match to ever live in wrestling, but it was a fucking really good match. They just like
I'm sure it was.
there comes a point. Comes a point in matches though where sometimes like too much is too much. Like especially that they ended up putting Kenny over. I think they could have maybe put him over a little bit sooner. Like I know they're trying to give Ospreay that fighting spirit, but there are a couple points where I was like, that was like fucking absolutely devastating. And then that was devastating. And it was just a little bit too much for me. It kind of was like, okay, let's do like finish him now. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
Other than that, and that's just me being really nitpicky. Like I would highly recommend checking those guys out.
I'll say this for the little I did see. As per usual for Wrestle Kingdom, the entrances were on point.
Yeah,
the entrances looked fucking great. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm interested to see what they do with Kenny being the United States champion now. Like that kind of opens the door. We're going to see him in New Japan Strong a little bit more. Like
maybe
I like the idea of the United States Championship being defended in the United States more and having their champion on New Japan Strong more. So, that's cool. Like, and Ospreay was doing that as well. Not that he wasn't, but Kenny is just he's a different animal,
Gotta love this. A Canadian holding the Japanese version of a U.S. championship.
Fucking hell yeah. How about let's talk a little bit of PWG. Yeah. I thought this was absolutely incredible. Daniel Garcia is in the ring, scheduled to be in a tag team match. He's supposed to team up, I believe, with Gresham and Blackwood. Yeah. And he says, I don't team up with wrestlers. I only team up with sports entertainers. And fucking Chris Jericho and the Jericho Association comes out. What, like, could you imagine being there and having that happen? Like,
yeah,
especially
especially as a hardcore PWG fan, if you're there, that's just a hell of a moment for you. And at their pinnacle pay-per-view, like we're not talking about any pay-per-view. This is the Battle of Los Angeles. This is
they do
basically their WrestleMania. Like this is the very good pay-per-view of the year. So great pay-per-view to do this at. Great move by everybody involved. Be it from Tony for greenlighting it to Jericho, to whoever idea this was.
It was Garcia's.
I'm going to tell you who's going to come out shining in this. Our boy Blackwood, baby. He's going to come out a star.
Barry, man, that guy's going places.
Yeah, right. Blackwood has been one of my favorites on the Indies for about 5-6 years now. And I've already said 1,000 times, I'm surprised he hasn't been anywhere. Nothing against the guy, but Garcia would not have been my first choice of the Buffalo Boys to get the first big major push. You know what I mean? It would have been Blackwood. But I mean, and I'm talking about all those Buffalo, because all those Buffalo boys deserve to be pushed somewhere.
I agree.
From Kevin Bennett to Puff to Blackwood to Garcia, they all deserve
Jay Lee,
major rubs. Pardon me?
young Jay Lee.
Well, young Jay Lee, I don't know if I guess he's part of the new breed of the Buffalo boys, right?
Oh, he's right in there, man. And I got to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to Haley Dillon too. She's really
in there.
improved a lot, man. What a great rookie year she's had, and the leaps and bounds that she's come the last few months has been incredible, especially being injured for a lot of the year too. Keep your eye on Haley Dillon in 2023 for sure. I really like Garcia. I think Daniel Garcia made this happen, and it's smart for AEW because AEW is in LA this week, so it's like a good way to get some hype for them. It was the first indie that Jericho has worked on the California side since 1996, and somebody actually found the clip of him doing it and put it on Twitter.
Whoa. Jericho hasn't worked in California since 1996?
No, the first indie show he's done in California.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I missed that part. You
first indie show since 96.
That makes more sense. Okay,
yeah, which is wild, right? Very, very cool stuff.
While we're talking about sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I just like when companies do stuff outside the box like that.
Big time. While we're talking about PWG, let's give a big shout out to our a guy that we have a lot of admiration for. A guy we've talked about a lot of times on this show, and that's big time Speedball Mike Bailey for becoming the winner. Yeah, big winner. He was the winner of the Battle of Los Angeles over in PWG. Yeah. So good call over there.
And the last thing I've got on my list actually goes hand in hand with that is let's send a big congratulations to Josh Alexander, the official longest reigning Impact Wrestling heavyweight champion of all time. He's also the official longest reigning Impact Wrestling tag team champion of all time.
Yes, he is.
I don't know if he's the longest reigning X Division champion of all time. I don't think he is.
No,
but
I'm not sure who it is, but I know it's not him.
He's got one of the longest reigns, so I'll tell you that much. I think he's really making a case to take away. In my opinion, Mr. Impact Wrestling and TNA was always AJ Styles.
Yes.
I think Josh
I think Josh needs a few years to dethrone AJ, but it's in his grasp.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd say the only person alive right now that could do it would be Josh Alexander.
I think he's breathing down that neck right now. I just the work he's done in ring, it's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Trying to look up the number or the longest reigning champion. I'm very interested by it. Austin Aries, longest reigning champion at 301 days.
Really?
Yeah.
That's disappointing.
Yeah.
I was expecting like a Petey Williams or a.
I don't remember. I guess that was like I don't remember Aries' run.
Neither do I. Was X Division?
Josh Alexander had a run of 151 days with the belt. Thank you, Googles. Thank you, Googles. I don't have anything else on my list that I want to talk about. You got anything you want to talk about?
Let's do some inside housekeeping, then we'll run to the list. This is for the people that live in our area, baby. Let's just do it. Barrie Wrestling's got a big show coming up. What's the date on that? January 21st. Thank you very much. Big show there. We got, let's start off with what is probably going to be the match of the night. Why? Because it's got Jay fucking Lee in it. Young Jay Lee puts on the match of the night. I'd say 7 out of 10 times a fucking.
And the other 3 times go the other guy that's in this match.
Yeah, exactly. We got Young Jay Lee putting up his Three Pistols Championship up against Gabriel Frueza and Reverso. This is ridiculous.
I can't wait.
Ridiculous.
Can't wait,
man, what a match that's going to be.
I left a comment. I don't know if you saw or not. I left a comment on the Barrie Wrestling Instagram page that just said, good luck following this rest of the year 2023. Yeah, very high expectations for this match. So make
what
sure
else?
subscribe to
What else do we have
IW.
up? What else do we have up for the show? I
Got
know
Holden
there's going
Albright.
to be
Holden
Holden Albright
Albright
and
versus
Van
Van
Landen
Landen
in a
hardcore match,
hardcore
which
match.
if you want to get more of that story, go to the Counted Out YouTube page and please subscribe while you're there. And you can check out my exclusive sit-down interview I did with those guys building up to this match.
We got a Rumble style match. I forget what they're calling it. It's like the Berry Battle or something like that.
The Rock 95 Rumble or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll
it's
talk to Sean
basic-
Gibson, see if I can get in on the Royal Rumble. That's all you have to
you
do
wanna-
is you have to declare yourself out. I declare myself in the Royal Rumble match.
Hell, man. I mean, I don't think
Right.
Fink was ever. I don't think Fink was ever in the Royal Rumble. But you can make a name for announcers everywhere by getting in there, man.
I think I got a real shot. I've been really
I'm gonna
packing on the
start-
pounds.
I'm gonna, yeah, but not in the muscle way.
No, I'm getting fat, so it'll be harder to lift me over.
I'm gonna make a hashtag Tyler for the whatever the fuck it's called. Yeah. Let's start that campaign right now. Let's start that right now.
I think I got a real shot.
today.
I think I got a
That is
real
starting
shot at
today.
this thing.
That is starting today. As of
Alright.
today, Thursday, as the day when this comes out, Sean Gibson is going to be so surprised when he gets barraged with hashtags and emails and texts of people saying, "Put Tyler in the Rumble." This is happening.
Barrage with like 1.5 messages, probably. Actually, who the fuck is Tyler? What is it? TCO? That's what Diamond Jim calls me. TCO. Hashtag TCO.
The last piece of housekeeping I want to do is for our good friends at Destiny Wrestling. We will be there, baby, as usual. It's January 29th.
Yes.
And what a fucking show this is turning out to be, man. We got Destroy, that's Forweza and Von Vertigo. And they're taking on the Motor City Machine Guns. That's the Impact champions, the Motor City Machine Guns right there.
Team champions, yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully still champions by the time of the show. We'll see this Friday at Hard to Kill. But then what else is on the show, man? We got no, that's not announced yet. What else we got?
Alan Angels against Steve Macklin against Tarek.
What? My chest hurts thinking about this match.
Alexia Nicole will be in action as well.
Who knows what she's going to do, but doesn't matter. She's in the building. You're going to get amazing action from Alexia Nicole.
I'm really excited for this show. I had a great time at Destiny Wrestling. I highly recommend you guys try to check out Destiny Wrestling if you're in the area. And of course, I want to give a shout out to one more big show coming to the Toronto area as well. Mm-hmm. That's the Demand Lucha show, which is going to be Thursday, February the 16th. Big names on this show. Jimmy the Mouse of the South Heart is going to be there, which is always awesome. Former guest of our show, and someone who I think I might have had a small hand in helping come on this show by sending him this information was Jack Evans. So Jack Evans is going to be facing Sam Adonis. Who else is on this show? Space Monkey's on the show. Joey Janelle, Gringo Loco. Jimmy Lloyd's facing
Jimmy Lloyd. I am so excited for this. Unfortunately, I will not be attending this show. It's a school night. But Jimmy Lloyd, listen, I know you're not a big GCW guy, okay? But let me tell you something. This man, he's known as a different boy, all right? That's what they call him, a different boy, Jimmy Lloyd. And there's something different about Jimmy Lloyd. You look at him, and he's not a good-looking kid, all right? He's ugly. He's out of shape. He's not a wrestler's wrestler. But he gets in that ring, and I dare you, I fucking dare you to find anybody with more heart than Jimmy Lloyd, that goes as hard as Jimmy Lloyd, that loves this business more than Jimmy Lloyd. Jimmy Lloyd loves everything he does. He loves GCW. He loves professional wrestling. He loves deathmatch wrestling. And he's going to love Demand Lucha. And I don't know if he's going to love going up against Jody Threat, though, because Jody Threat, she's no slouch herself.
Yeah. Also, Los Medicos are going to be in trios action with their new manager, Nova Kane. I like
love that. I fucking love that so much.
And while we're doing housekeeping, please subscribe to our YouTube page at Count It Out 7. We are really trying to grow that. It's been going pretty well. Slow and steady wins the race. So we're getting more and more subscriptions every week. So thank you guys for that.
And go to prowrestlingtees.com/counted-out7 for your exclusive Counted Out merch. 23s, you're going to see a few more t-shirts on there. We'll just wait and see. I've got a couple ideas brewing here. They're just going to make it to that website, which they will eventually.
I'm working on designs actually right now as well.
Me too. All right. So I believe it's list time.
I'm getting tired.
All
Let's
right.
do this.
My favorite time of the year, baby. Whoa, whoa. Royal Rumble.
That is not right.
I love Royal Rumble season. I love it. This is my favorite. January is my favorite month in wrestling because it begins Royal Rumble season, and I love it. And Shawn Michaels is a huge part of the Royal Rumble. Nobody can refute that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to start. I think it's only poignant that we start at my favorite WrestleMania match. We're going to 1992.
Favorite Royal Rumble match?
Yes. My favorite Royal Rumble match is 1992.
Yeah.
Sorry, did you lag? And that's my number 7 spot here. Let me explain to you why. Shawn Michaels' entrance in this Royal Rumble sets up the rest of his career.
Yes.
About a week or two prior to this, Shawn put Marty Jannetty through a plate glass window.
It was the go home show to this, actually.
Exactly. Effectively destroying one of the most beloved tag teams in the history of WWF at the time. Nobody had seen Shawn since. We didn't know how people were going to react. We didn't know how Shawn was going to act. We didn't know anything. Shawn comes out to a fucking chorus of boos.
Mm-hmm.
If they were wondering if this heel turn was going to work, they got their answer this night. He comes out, they're booing the shit out of him. Some dude in the front row's throwing shit at him. My only gripe is that, and the reason this is number 7 and not higher, is that Shawn didn't act to it. Shawn didn't overly heel himself and show the crowd, hey, I'm the guy who just fucking threw my best friend through a window. Fuck you. Yeah. Shawn just jogged to the ring, got in and started beating on Ric Flair. So that's why it's my number 7. But it's a great moment for Shawn because I think it proved to everybody that this is gonna work. Shawn is gonna be the guy because he got the heat we wanted him to get. Look at them. It was one of the biggest crowd reactions of that Royal Rumble.
Yes, it was.
It's probably the 4th or 5th biggest crowd reaction they got in the whole Rumble. And it was pure hatred. They hated him. They went from loving him for years, one of the most beloved people in WWF, to the most hated in a week. It was beautiful.
He came out at the number 6 spot, eliminated one person, and lasted 15 minutes and 46 seconds. Great run. Seventh longest time for the Rumble that year.
Well, if we're going to talk about length of runs in the Rumble, that kind of goes hand in hand with my 2005 because to my number 6, I'm sorry, which was in 2005. And that was the year Kurt Angle didn't get a very long run in the Royal Rumble, now did he?
No, he did not, actually. And this is a good little Rumble here as well. I really enjoyed this Royal Rumble.
Me too.
Shawn Michaels, let's see. He came out in the 19th spot. He eliminated, how many people did he eliminate? He eliminated 3 people, and he lasted only 4 minutes and 56 seconds, though.
Right. But we're talking, this is not performances in the Rumble. This is moments.
Yeah. Oh, okay? Yeah, great moment.
And the moment, the reason it's the moment, this set up one of the greatest WrestleMania matches ever. This went on to a phenomenal feud between him and Kurt. Mm-hmm. And a phenomenal match between him and Kurt. But I wrote a note here, and I think you're going to laugh at this. My note is this. So everybody knows this is how let's set up the story. Within less than a minute, Shawn eliminates Kurt. Kurt gets pissed off, jumps back in, and eliminates Shawn. Right?
Yep.
So Kurt eliminated Shawn illegally. Yes.
Yep.
Kurt did it. Bad. Vader did it. Bad. Steve Austin did it. Bad. Hogan did it. Good. Bobby
Hogan must
Heenan was
both.
right.
Two sides of the arm, brother. You know
Whose
what?
side's he on?
You know a little moment that Shawn does in this Rumble that I really like too is he gets in the ring and Simon Dean is like doing squats, and then Shawn just super kicked him and immediately eliminated him and started doing squats as well. I thought that was a great little spot there.
Nothing but charisma with that man.
Did you? This just popped in my head. It's on the Shawn Michaels topic since we're talking about him. Did you hear the story that Matt Hardy told about Shawn Michaels recently?
No.
They were on a European tour. It was the tour where Shawn and Cena had like their 50-minute Raw match. And Flair was like just losing his mind about how great it was. It's the greatest thing on the planet. Shawn, come to the bar tonight. Shawn, come to the bar tonight. And Shawn's like, no, I don't do that anymore. And he's like, just come hang out then. And Cena was at the bar drinking, and Rick was putting him over and goes, come on, Shawn, you can just have a drink or two. And Flair ended up getting Shawn like pretty hammered. And Matt Hardy was like, you could slowly see like the old Shawn Michaels like coming out like gradually throughout the night. And he's like, we were having a great time. Like Shawn was just sitting there talking shit to me and Jeff, but like not like serious, but like telling Jeff Hardy that like he was just he would never be like Shawn, and like he was like a Shawn Michaels light, and that the people they love him now, but they won't like fondly like follow him like Shawn. And then I guess he's like started bowing up to Umaga, and he was like, look at you, you're like a big tough guy, but like, you know, like I could drop you with one sweet chin music, you know what I mean? And Umaga bowed up and was like, why don't you do it now then, Shawn? And he's like, well, I'm just working, brother. I'm just working, brother. And like, he's like, it's just funny to see Shawn like being cocky, and then Umaga put him in his place, like, oh, I'm just working, brother. I'm just working, brother.
Leave it to Ric fucking Flair to go to man who's worked so hard to fucking straighten his life out and to fucking going out drinking like that. 100%. Fuck Ric Flair. That brings me to my number 5, which is kind of where it all began. You know, everybody knows the boyhood dream started at WrestleMania 12, but how did we get there? We got there in 1996 at the Royal Rumble when Shawn Michaels knocked his buddy Diesel out with a sweet chin music.
I think this might be perfectly placed. At first, I was like, okay, Royal Rumble wins might be top 3, and then I'm thinking more about it. I think you might have this one perfectly placed.
I think so. I think it's mid pack.
Yeah,
especially for what comes after it, man.
I want to hear what you have after it, because I'm like mixing up years in my head. Like it's tough. Like I get a little jumbled at some points, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some stuff. But like this was a big story for Shawn coming back after the Owen kick.
Of course, of course, it was a big story. It really was. You know, and he had a lot to prove backstage. Nobody other than Pat Patterson believed that Shawn, as a babyface, could get over as champion. Nobody believed it. So Vince basically said, okay, we'll give him the Rumble again, but if you can't pull it off, we're not putting title on him at 12. And, you know, and he proved himself. That run from you know, Rumble to Mania, he did it. It's a great moment. I don't think there's anybody better he could have put out last than Diesel. It really solidified that moment.
I like the way they did that too, where they didn't actually like fight each other. It was just like Diesel eliminated Kama, and then turned right around into a sweet chin, which also set up a great WrestleMania thing with the Undertaker, right?
100%.
Shawn Michaels, by the way, came out at the number 18 position, lasted 26 minutes, and eliminated 8 men.
It must have been really hard for Shawn too, because he's coming off of one of the greatest performances in Royal Rumble history from 1996 or 1995, I should say. So how do you outdo that? You know what I mean? You know, it's not like you can outdo it by winning, because he already won. You know, how do you do that? And how you do it is you go out there and you just be Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
And that's what he did.
100%.
Which brings me to my number 4. You want to know how we beat the number 5 spot and whether or not that's a good spot for it. I think I'm going to prove it right here. I'm going on. This is the middle of one of the greatest stories ever told in a wrestling ring. The year 2008 started off exactly where 2007 ended off, with Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker in a wrestling ring.
Mm-hmm.
I love this so much. The fact that 2007, the last 2 were Shawn and Taker, and then 2008, the first 2 were Shawn and Taker. And we haven't even gotten to the meat and potatoes of their feud yet. Okay? Like, this is 2008. Their first WrestleMania match isn't until 2009. So this is still, 25 was WrestleMania 9.
That Mania match, that was
9.
4 years in the making. Like, you know what I mean? They did 2
This
years of
is
Rumble
what I'm
Keys.
saying. If you put together the stuff they did in 97 and 98, and then go to the stuff they did in 07, 08, 09, and 10, this really, they put it all together. I'd say Shawn Michaels and Undertaker have the makings of being one of probably the top 3 greatest stories ever told in the WWF ring.
I will even take that a step further, and I will say that between all those runs, it is the greatest body of work from an in-ring standpoint in WWE.
From an in-ring standpoint, I'm not going to argue with you. From a storytelling standpoint, I still think Vince and Austin have it. Vince and Austin's never going to beat anything for me. But from an in-ring standpoint, 100%, I can't argue with you there.
And if you're talking though, like from a complete package, like from storytelling, like I put it up there with Vince and Austin too. Like Vince and Austin they had fun matches too, actually. But Vince and Austin's the greatest story ever told, I think, in the WWE.
100%.
But if you take greatest story mixing in with in-ring work, it's gonna be like right under Vince and Austin, in my opinion.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot I can talk about the 2008. I just think it was perfect that they started the match off like this.
The way that like the crowd reacted when Taker's music hit and everyone's like, yes, yeah. Undertaker. But then when Shawn's music hit and everybody remembered, they were like, holy fuck. Shawn Michaels enters at the number 2 position. He lasts 32 minutes and 39 seconds, only eliminating 2 people this year, though.
Interesting. Well, I think he's going to beat that with my number 3. I think he definitely eliminated more people in this year. We're going to a year that I called a triumphant yet heartbreaking match for Shawn Michaels. We're going to 2010. The very last year we'll see Shawn Michaels in a Royal Rumble match.
I was wondering where you were going to place this, and I have it in my 2 to 3 spot.
Can I be honest with you? I almost forgot about it. My original list didn't have it. Yeah, my original list didn't have it. I just totally forgot about it. And when I was going through, reading things, I'm like, oh my God. And it went from not on the list to the number 4 spot to the number 2 spot and then back to the number 3 spot, all within a couple minutes. I'm pretty happy with it at number 2 spot, or number 3 spot rather.
Yeah, I agree, actually.
I'll explain why when we get to the rest, but I'm very happy where it is. What a great story, man. This is Shawn's last chance. Shawn knows that if he doesn't win right now, the Undertaker is champion. The only way that he's getting into a ring with the champion is to win the Royal Rumble. If Shawn doesn't win the Royal Rumble,
go back though, right? Go back because Shawn is obsessed with fighting Undertaker again because he lost at Mania at 25, right?
Exactly.
So he's like, I'll just win the Royal Rumble and I'll face the Undertaker.
Yeah. So he's obsessed with it now. He goes in, and this is during a run too, where him and Triple H were still kind of doing the DX thing a little bit. So they have a nice little fun run in the Royal Rumble where Shawn and Triple H together eliminate like at least 3 or 4 people, including John Cena, which is a fun run.
They did not eliminate John Cena in this one,
didn't they?
No, John Cena was in the final 2.
I apologize. My memory doesn't. My memory attacks me. This is the one where they teamed up for a bunch, though, right?
For a little bit. They actually, I'm looking, I have all the stats in front of me here. They only eliminated one person together, actually, and that was
Oh
Drew
shit.
McIntyre. But
Okay,
Triple
well, I
H,
apologize. My memory does mean nothing but hardships here.
I actually thought
What
they
I
went on to
do,
win a
what
Rumble
I
together as well.
what I do remember is right after the tear they were, what I thought they were on. Shawn turns around, super kicks Hunter, and Hunter goes out. Is
Yes,
that correct?
that is
Okay.
correct. Yeah. And
All
that was
right.
such a great moment because Hunter had been in there. He came in the number 8 spot and was in there for 17 minutes and 55 seconds. Shawn comes in at the number 18 spot, last 23 minutes and 45 seconds. Shawn
And
eliminated
Shawn
6 people, one of them
and
being the
Shawn
Triple
well,
H.
Shawn was in the final four. So it was him, Batista, Edge, and I guess it was John Cena then.
Shawn actually was in the final 5. He got eliminated in the 20s. Oh no, Shawn was in the final. Yeah, final 4.
Yeah.
Sorry, my
Shawn,
math
Shawn
was
was the Shawn
my
was the
math was
first
poor.
of the final four to be eliminated.
It was Shawn, Batista, Cena, and Edge. Yes.
Okay, all right. I didn't know, for some reason my memory didn't tell me it was Edge or it was Cena in there. But
What
yeah,
a
but
final
with
four that is, by the way. Just
right. But Batista eliminates Shawn. Shawn tries to pull the old Hogan, line, but it doesn't work for him. He gets kicked out, and he's pissed. He's not happy at all. What is one of the saddest moments for Shawn Michaels in the kayfabe sense is one of the greatest moments in his Royal Rumble career.
yeah. Can
I love it.
I'd like to break this down actually a little bit more because I think this is one of
Absolutely.
Shawn Michaels' greatest selling moments in his entire career, which is a big
Yeah.
statement to make. But Shawn is like he's been thrown over the top and he's holding on, and it wasn't like a big blow. Like Batista was just fucking on him, you know what I mean? And he's doing like the grabbing. He's got one arm, he's got like fingers, and he hits the ground. And the look that comes over his face, the realization that I have just been
It's
eliminated and I can't get what I want. And you can see the wheels turning, like disbelief, shock, heartbreak, anger, and then he goes back in the ring and super kicks the fuck out of everybody,
yeah.
furious. And then the next month he would end up just costing the Undertaker the world title elimination chamber match so he could piss Taker off so Taker would fight him at WrestleMania. Great,
It,
great storytelling here.
it is a great story. Like you said, it's great selling because it's that moment where he realizes that everything he told the whole story right here with his face.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this is one of the reasons why Shawn Michaels is one of the greatest ever.
I'm very, in my opinion, I think I know what your number 1 and 2 are, but I'm very
Okay.
intrigued to see what your order of your number 1 and 2.
All right. My number 2, I think, is kind of self-explanatory. I didn't even make notes of it because it just says it for itself. We already talked about how it ended. Let's talk about how it began. 2007, finishing the Royal Rumble with Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. Is there a better way to finish a Royal Rumble?
I'm lined up with you on this one.
Yeah.
This makes a strong case to be a number 1 as well.
Definitely. I just between us girls, you know what my number. There's no way you don't know what my number 1 is.
Yeah,
I
I think we
couldn't
all
that
probably do.
which could not be my number 1. But if anything could usurp it, it would be this. This is just one of the greatest finishes to Royal Rumble in the Royal Rumble history.
Yes. These guys go like 10 to 12 minutes, or 8 to 12 minutes, which is crazy. Like
we're sitting there watching two of the greatest superstars in the history of this business. I don't want to say past their prime, but past their heyday. Okay. Neither of them are, it's not 97 anymore, right? It's not even 2003 anymore. So they're kind of past that part. They're not the guy anymore. They're not up there anymore. But they're two guys in a ring after 28 other guys have already left. Now it's just those two guys center stage in front of this whole audience. And they have this chance. One of them's going to WrestleMania. Now, at the beginning of the show, if you would have told me either Shawn Michaels or Undertaker going to WrestleMania, I'd be like, why? They don't need it. Neither of those need WrestleMania. By the end of the show, after what they showed me for those 8 minutes, I'm like, fucking either one of these guys. And until Shawn Michaels went over that top rope, I had no idea who the fuck was going to win that. No idea.
Shawn Michaels entered at the number 23 position, lasting 24 minutes and 11 seconds and eliminating 4 people.
And do we know what Taker did?
Taker entered at the number 30 position.
30 spot. That's what I was thinking.
Eliminating 3 people, lasting 13 minutes and 15 seconds.
Wow.
Something that kind of cheeses me about this, though, is Undertaker wins the Royal Rumble, goes on to WrestleMania to face Batista. Shawn Michaels main events WrestleMania against John Cena.
Yeah.
This is where, like, you got to protect the Royal Rumble, and it's not being protected even to this day.
I've said that for years and years and years.
This was the start of it.
You know, it all goes back to WrestleMania 18, where people are like, oh, well, they should have ended with Rock and Hogan. I'm like, no. Did Rock or Hogan win the Royal Rumble? No, they didn't.
You know that the next over the next 4 years, 3 of the Royal Rumble winners didn't main event WrestleMania. Right?
You know,
guess what? Batista or Taker won this one for 23. Cena won the next year for 24. Did the triple threat in the middle of the show, right? 25, Randy Orton won and main evented, and then 26, Edge won and Shawn and Taker main evented.
If we're going to give an exception to any year ever, it's 26.
100%. But
okay,
the 4 years,
the exception, but the exception was made way too many times.
I agree.
Which finishes this thing off with the most obvious thing. There's no way people don't know what I'm talking about here.
I just want to say one more quick point. The best ending to a Royal Rumble ever, that right there. Those guys going for 8 to 10 minutes. I wish we could see that happen again. I like longer number 2. Like when it gets down number 2, it's usually only like a minute, 2 minutes. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to watch the final 2 be like my sex life. I just want it to be better, you know?
I also enjoy good long number 2, which of course brings me to the top spot here. The number 1, we're going back to 1995. Of course we are, in one of the most shocking endings to a Royal Rumble at the time, I would say. Because number 1, let's say this. You know, we didn't mention this before. I should have talked about this on my number 5 spot when we were talking about 1996. We didn't say how Shawn Michaels was the very first person to win 2 in a row, which was a big deal. Okay.
No, he was not the very first person to win 2
in a row. Oh no, Hogan had already done it. I'm sorry. So never mind. Scratch that. But Shawn Michaels was the first person in 1995 to go coast to coast, was he not?
Yes. Flair was the number 3 spot when he did it.
Yes. So Shawn was the first person to come in first and leave the victor. And I believe, wasn't Bulldog number 2? So either way, they were both going coast to coast, right?
Yeah.
So either way, so already at the end of the show, when you see Bulldog and Shawn still in the ring, when they were in there for the exact same amount of time, you already knew, okay, there's something cool happening here, because this doesn't happen, you know? And then and remember, Bulldog was the face, Shawn's the heel. Bulldog, people love Bulldog at this point too. 1995 British Bulldog, fucking
super over.
Bulldog throws Shawn over. Bulldog turns around to celebrate. Shawn's holding on. You know, they're doing that whole great angle where one camera's on Bulldog celebrating while the music is playing. He's up on the top rope celebrating. But they still wait a minute. This is what I love. It's so fucking well done. No pun intended, Kevin Dunn.
We're both in this match.
I thought you were talking about the tag team. Right. Yeah, that's right. The camera doesn't go over to Shawn right away. This is what I love. They could have, you know, had that camera over there showing that Shawn's feet aren't hitting. But no, they focus where they should focus. You focus on the winner. And that's what they're doing. Yet the referees were still doing their job. The referees, like everybody was playing their roles 100% properly.
The bell
Shawn gets
never
back.
rang.
Yeah, the bell never rang. Shawn gets back in the ring, knocks the Bulldog out. Bulldog surprises fuck. Bulldog has no. Bulldog thinks he just got fucked over. It's great, and then they spend the next 10 minutes showing the replay over and over and over again. Did his foot hit? Did his foot hit?
Shout out to
It's
Vince
beautiful.
McMahon.
It's amazing storytelling.
One foot.
Yeah,
Great call.
it's some of the greatest storytelling in the history of WWE.
I believe it's also probably the only time in Royal Rumble history. I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure we're both the winner and the second place person were in the Royal Rumble match for the same amount of time.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Shawn Michaels entering at the number 1 position, lasting 38 minutes and 41 seconds, eliminating 8 people in what is the worst Royal Rumble match.
38 minutes?
Yeah, this was the
That's
year they did
short Rumble.
They did 1 minute intervals that weren't even 1 minute half the time. This
That's
is a great performance by Shawn. He bumps around like crazy. He does all the fun elimination teases, but this is the worst Royal Rumble lineup of all time.
This is a horrible Royal Rumble.
Here we go. You ready?
Great. This is a really good Shawn Michaels match because that's what it is. That's what they wanted it to be, and that's what it was.
Are you ready for this, Mike?
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels, this is the order. British Bulldog, Eli Blue, Duke Drosy, Jimmy Del Rey, Sione the Barbarian, Tom Pritchard, Doink the Clown, Quang the Ninja, Rick Martel, who hadn't been in the company for like 2 years by this point, Owen Hart, Timothy Well, Bushwhacker Luke, Jacob Blue, King Kong Bundy, Mo, who lasted 3 seconds, Mabel, Bushwhacker Butch, Lex Luger, Mantar, Aldo Montoya, Henry Godwin, Billy Gunn, Bart Gunn, Bob Backlund, Steve Dunn, Dick Murdoch, Adam Bomb, Fatu, and Crush.
Okay.
Terrible Royal Rumble.
I just did a count on that. I guarantee your today's fan, your today's casual fan, somebody who doesn't know the history, doesn't know at least 21 of those people.
1,000%. I think they would maybe know Billy Gunn. I think that they would know Lex Luger, maybe.
I mean, the few of the guys like if you've been watching for a few years, you might know the Bushwhackers because you watched them on the Hall of Fame a few years ago. You know what I mean? You might, there's a couple guys you might know, but no, you're not going to know the Barbarian. You're not going to know, some people don't. I guarantee you, a lot of people aren't going to know Dick Murdoch. You might know a King Kong Bundy.
I have something weird to say to you, Mike.
Uh-oh.
I think I might agree with every part of your list this week.
It's funny because not only it's not weird that you like my list but usually at least you dislike my order. I think you actually agreed with my order this week.
I think I do as well. I'm trying to I would give an honorable mention. It wouldn't make my list. I would give an honorable mention to his 2003 performance just for the selling he did with Jericho. He just got eliminated.
Is that the one where is that the one where he was in and out?
Yeah, where Christian tricked him and Jericho jumped him from behind.
Yeah, that was an honorable mention for sure. It was originally my number 7, to be honest.
I don't know if I would have had the 2005. Yeah, I guess the eliminating Kurt Angle was really good. I like your reasoning behind it. Yeah,
I the only thing I was wondering, I didn't know if I was going to get heat from you about the 1992.
No, 92 is fine. I would have maybe made a case to put 94 on there. I thought Shawn. I think I would have actually. I will change one thing on your list. I would have put Royal Rumble 94 on the list.
Remind me what he did in 94.
Shawn Michaels was in the final 4 of Rumble 94, but he had a real long run.
Oh yeah. This is the one where this is Luger and Brett's. Yeah. I remember that.
I would I would put this on your list.
Sure, but
I would put this on your list because Shawn Michaels came out at where did he come out? The 18 spot, lasting 29 minutes, 17 seconds, eliminating 4 people. But he did the great stuff with Diesel, where he was the guy that actually kicked Diesel over the top rope. Yeah. You know what I mean? I like that stuff. I thought he was a bumping machine. He was in the final 4. I think I might have put that one over one of your upper ones. I don't know about 92. Maybe the Kurt Angle elimination one, just because it was a shorter appearance. But
Okay.
I would make a case for 94 being on your list, but like other than that, I'm pretty I think you nailed it for the most part, man.
Sorry, you were
That's
lagged
it.
there for a second.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I was putting you over. I was putting you over. I didn't know if you were just savoring the moment since I hate putting you
Oh,
over.
I mean,
You have
what
to
I
go
usually
back and
do is
listen to the
I re-listen to the show after it comes out, and whenever you put me over, I just listen to it on loop.
I gotta say, great list this week, man. I'm gonna try to do that greatest Royal Rumble performers list next week. I'm gonna see if I have time now that I have this second job. It's very time consuming. I'm a very tired man, but I'm the best.
Hey, the lists can't suffer, brother.
That's it. My lists are already
Brother,
bad enough
brother.
as they are without being busy. But
Well, last thing to say before we start heading off here today is we're walking into playoffs, my loves. Food A, go Bengals. Hell of a playoff situation we're in here. Second week in a row, we'll be taking on the Ravens. I'm a little nervous, but
I always get nervous for divisional games, but the Ravens have been not playing great lately, and the Bengals are hot. Did you hear Joe Burrow's interview when they asked about his Super Bowl window?
I still want you to say it out loud.
They're like, Joe Burrow, what do you think your Super Bowl window is?
Yeah.
With the team, and he goes, as long as I'm the quarterback. God,
This
I
is one
love
of my
Joe
favorite
Burrow.
things. I'll tell you why. Because anybody who's watched these interviews, Burrow's not cocky. He's just confident. He believes this. And he's not like, he doesn't say that like he's a piece of shit. Excuse
That's
me.
going to be the Ravens next week, choking, baby.
That's it. Yeah.
All right,
So
brother.
if you're
Take
a
us
football
home.
fan, don't forget to watch the playoffs. Big, 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 big games. To our good friend Clay Wilson. We love you. And fuck, man, on behalf of the last week didn't count. So our first show of 2023, we're off to a good start. Nobody yelled at each other. Maybe last week's the only show of 2023 where you and I get in a fight.
Yeah, right.
You actually said on the show that you miss fighting with me. That's
I
fucked
do.
up.
I miss our little debates. And I don't want to fight like Seth Rollins and Bret Hart fight again, but I like debating with you. Stop making such good lists so I can tell
See,
you.
I want to fight like Seth Rollins and Ric Flair. I just want to walk past you and ignore you.
Ooh, heat,
You
brother.
know. With that said, it's glad to be back. Glad to be like you said last week, back to basics, doing what we do best. Love doing these lists. Next week we will be back sounding like we normally do with microphones and fucking throats that work. Until then, though, thank you for listening. Hit that subscribe button, and you've been counted out.
Good day, baby.